So our final presenter is Stephanie Roppolo, and she is a partner at Bright Blue. Stephanie has over 25 years of experience helping Fortune 500 companies build their employer brand. Her talk today is on Is Your Employer Brand Helping You Attract and Retain the Best Talent?
Good afternoon. Hello, marketing friends. Thank you for joining today. Really excited to be here talking to you from California, even though Bright Blue is headquartered in Atlanta. And today we want to talk about a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is your employer brand helping or hurting you attract and retain the best talent? This is something that I think is a challenge for a lot of organizations that are trying to figure out how to recruit millennials that are very different than the generations before them, as well as keeping them on board a little longer than their habitual 2 years. So exciting topics. So today we're going to talk about why is it important? What makes this important? Why should we care? And for some of you out there, you may not actually have a good idea or understanding of what an employer brand is. So we're going to take a quick look at that. And then we're going to have some tips on what you can do to know if your employer brand is working. And then 2 things that you can do to improve it today. So first up, why is this important? Why do we care about employer brands? And I would say the main reason is that it impacts every single area of your organization. But I'm just going to start with 2. So first, HR. Human resources invests millions of dollars every year in attracting the right talent and then keeping that talent engaged and on board. So if there is a strong internal message, the value proposition, the why factor of why that employee should come and work for you, HR really needs to know what that is. They need to define that. So a lot of you out there that may have dialed in for this may come from the corporate branding world. So you have a really good idea of that process. The process is very similar in coming up with that key messaging and developing that value proposition. And then, of course, all of the essential assets that go to activate the brand. Companies need the same process to activate their internal voice and to create that value proposition. And then if you go over to the sales side, which is the part of the organization that's responsible for generating revenue, they need it just as badly. They need to be able to go out to their customers and be able to explain with confidence why should you care? Why should you buy my product? Why should you buy my service? And it's really from developing this strong internal employer brand that those sales reps are able to do that. And of course, the financial impact of that is significant. So those are just a few little quick nuggets to answer why do we care. So for some of you out there that may be thinking, wow, I get that, but what exactly is an internal brand? That I sort of go back and forth between internal brand and employer brand. And I thought it would be fun to just look at 3 organizations that I think have really strong internal brands. So all of you are familiar with Uber, Google, and Starbucks. So let's think about it. Why do people want to work there? So a couple things come to mind. One is Uber, flexibility. We all know that people are working for Uber that are going to law school at night, that are single moms, that have 2 other jobs. They're trying to create a startup business, and they need a flexible work schedule where they can make really good money. Google, very different scenario, but still incredibly strong. So strong, actually, that they made a movie out of it. But Hollywood aside, you're going to go work for Google because they have incredible collaboration, that they work in teams, that they are global, that they are impacting the way that the entire world does business. So that is significant. Starbucks, you are going to go work there despite the fact that you love coffee, but because you're going to get benefits. You're going to be able to actually work a part-time job and have benefits. And you're going to also be working for an organization that has an incredible social impact and is about reducing the carbon footprint than more than any other organization that I'm aware of. So there are some key things here that will resonate with people, and that is essentially the internal brand. It's the why would you come and work for me question and answer. That's what we're trying to get to with the process of that internal brand. So I thought it would be kind of fun to tell a story, quick little story about a friend of mine named Ty. Ty is an SEO expert, search engine optimization, and he and I worked together for a couple of years, and he was always getting recruited. People were always coming after him because he was very talented, well-educated, but he also had a specialty that was rare. We were always trying to keep Ty on board. You know, it was, what do we need to do to make sure he doesn't leave us? And one day he came and he said, you know, I got an offer from MailChimp. And I thought, MailChimp, gosh, I didn't even know they were headquartered in Atlanta. And I didn't know a lot about them, but they rose up on my radar because of this offer he got. And we were able to keep him a little bit longer, but within a year they came back and they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And so when he came to tell me about the offer, it was impressive. And at the same time, he also got offers from several other people. And when everyone heard, the organization that I was at as well heard that it was MailChimp, they all said, well, because you're going there, there's nothing we can do. We can't even counter. And I thought, wow, that is a lot of power. What is it about this organization that everyone is folding in their cards and saying, you know what, gig is up, you're going to have to go. So I started paying more attention to MailChimp, and you're going to see a little bit more as this presentation unfolds about what some of those key things are. But they were around compensation. They were around health benefits as one category. But knowing that not every company can offer, for example, 100% paid health care, there was a lot of other things that MailChimp was about that were really cool and resonated with Ty. So we'll get to those. So how do you know your brand is working? You know, you may say, well, I really love working here, and I know that I'm always out talking to my friends about how great my company is. But if you're a marketer and you're wondering what the beat on the street is, the first place that I recommend you go is Glassdoor. This is hands down the number one place where prospective employees will go to look under the hood of your organization to see what other employees are saying. They can look up salaries, they can, and it's all real conversations from people that have worked inside the organization. So if we go back to MailChimp and you look them up, this is what I would say an internal brand that's working. And it's 4.6 stars out of 5. 97% would recommend it to a friend. And the very first thing you see when you go into Glassdoor and search MailChimp is, "Dear MailChimp, please never change." So on and so on. So funny enough, I decided to go and look at the organization that Ty was being recruited from. Like, I'm curious, what did Glassdoor say about them? And I think this is an example of something that's not working. Only 2.8 stars, only 43% would recommend. But the very first thing you see is a quote from an employee that says, "Run. Run, they will slander your name." So not to, you don't know who this organization is, But the truth is that you have access to this. You can see what employees are saying about you, and you have an opportunity to go in and re-campaign and restructure and get more positive influence. And plus, you might actually read a lot of it and get some insights on some things that you could change further inside your organization. So the next thing that I would say is ask. I'm always amazed when people talk about their company and then they say, there's really some problems here, but I don't even know who to go to create the change. So we all take those typical HR surveys that I know a lot of employees feel just goes into a black abyss. But if you go a little bit deeper and conduct focus groups, and I'm talking about you marketers, not HR, but you as the marketers of your company, go in and sit down with different demographic teams, millennial teams, Gen Y, Gen X, and get them talking about the brand, but also about the internal culture and how they feel about working for you. So one great example I have is we were hired to do this for the second largest distributor of wine and spirits in the United States. They were having a really hard time with their internal culture. And you would think, gosh, how is that possible when I have, we sell alcohol for a living? So we sat down with a group, and one of the gals said, you know what, if we're not doing it right, then something's wrong. And that became our tagline. We flipped it around. If it's fun, we're doing it right. And we started to change the sense of joy and the fun factor of working for this company. And it really made a difference. And that was just simply by asking. So 2 things that you can do today. First is develop a well-defined purpose. Are you communicating that purpose through different vehicles? You see it different for many organizations, but it can manifest in your core values, a company credo, your employee value proposition, which turns into your elevator pitch. These are all areas that you can communicate this. And I love MailChimp. If we go back to MailChimp, I love that this is their value proposition, that they are a team of misfits, that they believe in doing things differently for the underdog, and they are all about making not only their community better, but weirder and more human. So when I read this, I think, wow, they're doing something different, and it's really cool, and it's a little edgy, and it's just kind of hip and fun. Who wouldn't want to work for a company that says that this is what they're all about? So the second thing I would say is make sure you are speaking to millennials. 75% of the workforce, as you all already know, will be millennials by the year 2020. So are you creating an organization that is a place that they can come and invest in and make a difference? And are you telling that story through video? Not online and just written format, not through a brochure, but through video, because that is how they digest information the best. And are you active socially, not only with your carbon footprint, but online? So just look at that and analyze, are you telling your story to the millennial generation that is effective? So key takeaways: audit Glassdoor today. Make sure you ask employees for their input, because you just may find your best tagline yet. Develop a purpose and communicate it clearly, and make sure you are speaking to millennials loudly. And with all of that, you will hopefully create ambassadors, just like MailChimp has so beautifully done with this is just a group of them in a parade, but hundreds of employees showing up for a cause, for a good cause, to be a part of a community and be collective and be branded. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully it'll make a difference, and you'll get to take some of that back to your organization and start recruiting and retaining the best talent you can get. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And Nell, thank you so much for having me. And if you need or have any questions or would like additional information, here's my contact information. Thank you.